Hi, I'm Behan, and yep, you got me, I'm Irish. Now, I came to Australia many decades ago, and I came here with no prospects and no really great opportunity to be able to do anything. One thing that I kind of did have going for me was property was in my DNA. Now, if you know the history of Ireland, most of the property and land in Ireland was owned by these mega barons, and then everybody else like us, we had to work our fingers to the bone to kind of feed these mega barons, to feed their wealth and feed what they were doing. And property was in my DNA because my dad used to say to me, son, bricks and mortar is the way to make your life happen. Bricks and mortar can change your life. Now, Australia, as you know, is 110 times bigger than Ireland. I knew if I could own and work out a strategy to own a part of this, that this for me was going to be a game changer. So my initial problem was, how am I going to do this? Because the banks certainly weren't going to loan me any money at all whatsoever, not at that time. So out of pure necessity, I realized that I had to do something greater. So I started to read and study everything that I could about property because I knew that the answer was in that. I just had to find a way to make all of this happen. Even though I worked from early in the morning till late at night, I knew I had to put time and energy into myself. So in working my fingers to the bone when I came to Australia, I knew that there was an escape if I could just study this and find this way. So all of a sudden then I came across a book by the very own Mr. Packer. You've read about him, I'm sure, yourself. And I realized that Packer had come along and he had found an old rundown printing factory. He'd gone to the owner of the printing factory, he'd signed up an agreement with that owner for $1 down to buy that factory from him at some stage in the future. He then went off and told his competition he was going to be opening up a newspaper factory. The competition didn't want him to do that, so the competition came in and bought the factory from him, even though he never paid for the factory, he'd never put the factory into his name, he'd never signed up any mortgages in that factory, and he literally sold the factory, paid the property owner then the money that he owed him for the factory, and made a very hefty profit all along the way with a $1 deal. I became addicted to it, and I decided I have to really learn this strategy. This is it. This is my way out. I realized that this was the key to the gate. So I decided to study everything that I could about it, and then I truly learned this whole strategy called property options. So in studying this whole strategy, I kept coming across the same names: Richard Branson, Robert Kiyosaki, Warren Buffett, Donald Trump. They all just kept popping up, these multi-million-dollar and billion-dollar deals. But then I realized that this strategy actually worked for a $100,000 deal, a $200,000 deal, a $1 million deal, a $10 million deal, a $1 billion deal. It doesn't matter. The strategy works right across the board. And I thought, getting into property, not buying the property, never owning the property, not having to go to the bank to get the mortgage for the property, none of that pain and difficulty, no stamp duty, and still make a hefty profit. Brilliant. This deal, this whole process was going to work. I just had to perfect this process. So what we're going to do now is, let's look at some of the projects that I've done and some of the people that I've been working in the trenches with. And for the last 10 years, I've been in the trenches, at the coalface, chipping away with people, making this whole strategy work. Let's have a look at some of those for a moment.
But in every capital city and regional centre, there are always hotspots that come up. We do our research and we identify the hotspots. So we found this and we knew this was going to be a hotspot. That meant that the market here was going to really significantly increase and outperform everything else for a particular reason. So we now came along, we started negotiating with property owners. We signed this property here up. We owe the property owner $272,500. We haven't paid him, we're going to pay him in the future. I went to council. I said, council, I want to chop this into 3 lots. Council said, right, you don't have enough land, you can only chop it into 2 lots. I went to my neighbour next door. We bought this driveway here from him. That was his driveway. We amalgamated his driveway into this property here, and we paid him $60,000 in the future. Hadn't got the money yet, we pay him in the future. So we took the driveway next door, amalgamated in here, went back to council, said, council, we now have an extra 189 square metres from the next door neighbour's driveway. We want to amalgamate it and apply for subdivision. And they said, you have enough now to divide it into 3. Right then, our research paid off, and this area boomed in value by 40%, literally overnight, and that was only the start of it. So we came along then, and we done the subdivision. We negotiated, we found a property, we done the research, we signed that property up with the property owner, and then we decided to stay in and do this subdivision. We done the subdivision, and I got that subdivision done for $30,000, water, power, storage, and the whole thing myself was right in there doing it all. So at the end of the day, we owe $272,500 to the property owner, $30,000 for the subdivision, $60,000 for the driveway next door. We amalgamated all that together. That was our debt for that whole project. And as that property, as this area boomed in value, that back block sold for $400,000. The middle block sold for just short of $400,000. The front block sold for just under $400,000. And out of this little tiny project, first one that I ever done when I was trying to put all of this thing together, we pulled just shy of $800,000 in profit just from this one simple little project alone. So see this old fibro house behind me. So again, we've done our research and we found a gold nugget area. Sure, the market's flat, but this area is going to boom. Why? Because this block right behind me with this old fibro house on here, we can put 4 just on this little tiny subdivision right here. Now the potential profit in this here, in doing that subdivision, is over $1 million just with this little tiny block behind me. So just imagine now if you could learn how to do the research, find the gold nugget properties, bring those properties to us, let us sign that deal up for you, we fund it, we put the money in, we do the development of the subdivision, and together we split that profit 70-30. You get 70%, we get 30%. Look at the profit in this one, and in your area where you are right now, literally there are thousands of them. This block sat here forever until local council rezoned the area, and all of a sudden now this block can fit 12 houses right on this block. Now remember, we don't build houses, we just subdivide land and we sell the land off. That's what we do. Here's what's in the program. First off, know this: trying to do property options alone is really, really difficult. What you need is, number one, you need support, you need backup, you need constant communication. You need to be able to, when you find that deal, you need to be able to communicate with us literally within 24 hours so that we can get in and sign that deal up for you. So support is absolutely paramount to being successful in property options. Next, we're looking for more property options deals right now, just like this one behind me. Look at it, 2 old fibro houses that are in need of somebody to come along and put them under option and turn those into a multi-development site. Now, we're willing to train you right now if you qualify to join our team, and in doing that, we will split the profit with you 70-30. We'll do the subdivision, we'll do all of the clearing, we'll sell the blocks off at the end of the day, and we'll split that profit with you 70-30. You get 70%, we keep 30%, and we fund the whole thing. So connect with the team, see if we're a fit. We'll train you right now because we need more deals right now, and then we'll do that profit split, 70% to you and 30% to us. Talk soon.
Now, because of property options, I now have the lifestyle that I want, the travel that I want, the home that I want, the business that I want, all down to that strategy called property options, because I put the time and energy in. And as you can see, I love the chase. I love getting that deal over the line. I love working with people like you to help you fulfill your property dreams and allow me to get that deal in for you. That is what I love best about this strategy now, property options, helping other people just like you.